Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya Shujaa, bonyeza *811*961#.
Siku ya Mashujaa, unamsherekea nani kama shujaa wako? Labda ni mzazi wako, ndugu au dada yako, rafiki au mpenzi wako. Ni nani ameboresha maisha yako hadi akawa shujaa wako?
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya Shujaa, bonyeza *811*961#, *811*961#.
Well, good evening to you. Great thanks for joining us. This is Sunday Express tonight. The Lands and Physical Planning Department in Kiambu County is on the spot, as well as the National Construction Authority, of approval of a building that collapsed early this morning. Good news is nobody died in the incident, but then puts into question the level of expertise that is going into the construction of buildings. So you have that story lined up for you.
Yeah, the third building in just 1 year to collapse in that particular county. Yeah, sure. We will be bringing you that story. Plus, tonight we also got an interview lined up for you. I will be engaging two gentlemen later on to discuss what they are doing as part of their efforts to help vulnerable young people in slums right here in Nairobi County. So we are talking about Youth for Change, young people being part of the solutions to some of the challenges that young people are facing in the country.
All right, we take the highlights first, and then Sunday Express kicks off officially.
We are also reviewing the development that came down, and we'll be able to update the public on the reasons why that happened.
Just what is the problem?
A building caves in Kiambu, the third under 1 year.
And will it be a Peter Kenneth moment?
Leaders in Murang'a County front for Magatanga MP to seek the deputy presidency in handshake movement.
Victorious.
Kenya shines in Paris and Amsterdam marathons.
Sunday Express begins right now. Engage us on social media at KBC Channel 1 at Serfine_Achieng at Kioria. My name is Serfine Achieng Oma, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Byron Abule.
My name is John Jacob Kioria. Welcome to the broadcast. Kiambu County Lands and Physical Planning Department is carrying out a structural audit to ascertain what caused a 9-story building under construction to collapse along the Northern Bypass early Sunday.
2 guards who were manning the site escaped unhurt as the building came tumbling down. Let's get that report from Bentro Njue.
This is what remained of a 9-story building under construction at Membli area of Ruiru sub-county.
In this place, it's called Getodwa, fell down. A 9-floor building which was under construction. They had already done 8 floors and they were going on to the 9th floor.
Luckily, no one was injured as the building came tumbling down at 3 a.m. Sunday morning.
Mimi nilikuwa nimeamka kidogo. Halafu nikasikia kama ni mchanga inateremka. Halafu nikasikia kuku nikaamuka.
Kuna kraki ilikuwa imekata hivi. Siku moja nikauliza kehateka, na hii kraki iko hapa ni ya nini? Akaniambia hatujui vile hawa neighbors zetu wamejenga, hatujui wamegonga na nini.
About 15 vehicles in the neighboring garage were buried under the rubble. Kiambu County Lands and Physical Planning Department, the Ruiru Fire Department and the police cordoned off the area and evacuated tenants in an adjacent flat that had developed cracks from the impact of the collapsed building.
Tumeona hii building iko next. Hata hiyo imekuwa affected kidogo. So tunataka tufanye structural audit ndio tu advise kama wale walikuwa nakaa huko resident wanaweza kurudi.
And we'll be able to update the public on the reasons why that happened as soon as we are done with the preliminary investigations.
Ruiru legislator Simon Nganga stepping in to assist the tenants who had been evicted.
Wakati tunajenga manyumba tujenge tukitumia mikakati iliyotengwa, hasa manyumba makubwa yale yamezidi orofa 5 kwenda juu.
According to guards manning nearby properties, they had a loud bang at about 3:30 a.m. and had to run for safety.
Hii nyumba tulikuwa tumesikia kitu saa 9:30. Tulikuwa tunasikia anasema chwa. Fili ameanguka, umesikia rumepiga kama ndege ameanguka, pua, watu wametoroka.
Bike pomoromoka, ndio nimekimbia huku, yani vumbi imefunika huku.
Kiambu Governor James Nyoro last month formed a task force to do a forensic audit on constructions in the county after 3 buildings collapsed, all while still under construction this year alone. On 30th August, a 5-story building in Gashie Kiamba constituency collapsed, leaving 3 people dead, and another 5-story building that was under construction caved in Kino on 3rd of September. For Sunday Express, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Now, away from that unfortunate event, we move on to matters politics. Deputy President William Ruto now says Mombasa County has benefited immensely from the Jubilee government-initiated multi-billion shillings projects. Speaking in Jomvu Sub-County, Ruto said the government will ensure that all major infrastructure projects in the coast region are fast-tracked and completed within the scheduled time. He, however, said that some of the development projects were slowed down by the BBI politics.
Ruto, who undertook a series of meetings in Mombasa County, said the projects include Kenya shillings 4.5 billion Makopa Bridge, Kenya shillings 16 billion 3-decker Changamwe interchange, Jewel Road network to Kwa Jomvu, and Kenya shillings 19 billion Jewel Road from Jomvu to Mariakani, including the Dongo Kundu bypass, was aimed at opening Mombasa to international commerce under the Jubilee initial plan. Ruto, however, claimed there were interruptions in fast-tracking the projects after the entry of the BBI politics.
Wale tunashindana na wao ni watu wasumbufu sana. Wametuambia kila mwaka nenda rudi. Wanatusumbua na mambo ya kubadilisha katiba. Tumepoteza miaka 4 ya awamu hii ya term 2 ya Jubilee kwa mambo ya rege na BBI na kubadilisha katiba, eti viongozi wapate vyeo zaidi, eti viongozi wapate mamlaka zaidi.
The deputy president once again reiterated that if he ascends to power, he will initiate an economic stimulus packages to the business community as well as create job avenues for unemployed youth.
Mwaka ujao, kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, tunaweka hazina maalum ya kufukuza umaskini mashinani. Vile tunaweka pesa ya CDF milioni 120 kila constituency kila mwaka. Mwaka ujao tunaweka pesa ingine kama hiyo milioni 120 kila mwaka kila constituency ya kusaidia hawa wafanyabiashara wadogo, mama mboga, boda na wale wengine wote, pesa ya kuinua biashara zao.
Ruto is on a 4-day tour of the coastal region which ends tomorrow. For Sunday Express from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
Let's still continue keeping tabs on politics. The National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has scoffed at critics implying Mount Kenya region should not produce a presidential candidate in the next general election, saying the decision will be made by the electorate. Muturi urged Kenyans to rally behind a leader who has their interests at heart.
National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, who spoke at ACK Kongoine Church in Kiharu, Murang'a County, said Mount Kenya region can still field a candidate for the top seat. Muturi urged Kenyans to support his presidential bid, promising to revive the economy and enhance good governance.
Wacheni kila mtu aingie kwa kiwanja. And let us not try to pretend that there are people who deserve more than others. Hakuna. We are all Kenyans.
In Kangema, a section of Mount Kenya legislators on Sunday endorsed former Gatanga Member of Parliament Peter Kenneth as the ideal running mate of Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga.
Sisi kama vijana wa nchi nzima hatutakubali mshike Peter Kenneth. Peter Kenneth has outgrown Murang'a, kwa hivyo ninaomba kwa heshima kubwa sana mtupatie na ili atengeneze na aendeleshe hii nchi mbele. Sawa sawa.
We must look for a way in which we will work together. Na mimi nataka tutembee pamoja na nyinyi wote. Ni sawa sawa.
Kenneth's endorsement coming as ODM presidential ticket hopeful Jimmy Wanjigi, speaking at AIPCA Kutus Kirinyaga County, dismissed a proposal made by party leader Raila Odinga to give a 6,000 shillings monthly stipend to jobless youths if he forms the next government.
Sasa anataka kuongeza ati aongeze ingine 30 kwa sababu 300 billion ni kama 30. Iwe minus 105. Sasa hiyo inatoka wapi? Hiyo ni hesabu ya aina gani? Ndio tunasema hawezi fundisha sisi mambo ya biashara. Mambo ya uchumi yeye hajui. Hajui ametengeneza nani?
Elsewhere, former Agriculture Minister Mwangi Kionjuri has challenged Mount Kenya region to vote wisely and demand the one man, one vote, one shilling model so as to benefit from the incoming government.
Edeni nyumbani mshague polepole. Muangalie kiongozi na ile kazi atawafanyia na ni nani anaweza kuwa shujaa wenu, mshague huyo. Vile vile president angaliwe vizuri. You will never understand the New Testament if you have not read the Old Testament.
Kionjuri said the region should not ask for less, even if it means changing the constitution. The Service Party leader made the remarks at Living Water Church in Kirunga in Meru County during the ordination of Bishop George Kome Mutea.
Away from that, a prominent lawyer, Evans Monari, was Sunday laid to rest in his Nyamira rural home at a funeral attended by top government officials and members of the legal fraternity. In a message delivered by Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, President Uhuru Kenyatta described the late lawyer as a man whose contribution to the nation was invaluable.
Senior lawyer Evans Monari has been laid to rest. President Uhuru, in a message delivered by Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i, lauded Monari for his commitment to promoting education, especially for the vulnerable children.
Evans was the closest I knew to the near utopia. He lived in a universe of his own. He created a world of his own. It was not government, it was not opposition, it was not a political party.
He described the late Monari as a legal mind whose intellect would leave an indelible mark in the profession.
By creed, he had friends across the world, and he was a free spirit, and he has left behind a huge legacy that all of us need to follow.
Speaking at the Barrio Kitutu Chache North, legislator Richard Onyonka urged Kenyan leadership to support President Uhuru Kenyatta to defend the sovereignty of the country that is being threatened with a boundary dispute.
We must support President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta without mentioning anything because the case is over. It is the Europeans who want to take those waters so that they can be fishing there, getting gas and mining gold. That is the essence. There is no law there. So we are going to defend our territory.
Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi using the funeral to plead to the president to consider reviewing the ongoing curfew against COVID-19.
Kwa sababu watu wanashikwa saa zingine wakitoka kazini, saa zingine walikuwa na mambo ngumu, alafu wanafinywa pale. Kwa hivyo Fred Matiang'i, waziri wetu, tafadhali zungumza na mkubwa wa taifa Uhuru Kenyatta kwamba curfew tu.
Monari died early this month at a Nairobi hospital. Ruth Wamboi for Sunday Express.
And now gold miners in Kakamega County have been asked to avoid using mercury during its extraction process to reduce risks posed by the mineral. Stakeholders in the mining sector warned of a looming health crisis if the use of mercury, which is believed to affect the human nervous system, is not regulated.
Sieves in hands, soaked for hours in water in the hope of finding some gold nuggets. This is the reality for gold miners in this open pit mine in Kakamega County.
Most of the activity inafanyika in private lands. The activity haijapewa vibali, or we don't have land to do our activity because the Mining Act 2016 yenye inasema a permit or a license cannot be issued over another.
Locals have been mining gold for years, but they seem unfamiliar with the risks of extracting the mineral using mercury.
Ni sumu ambayo inaadhiri akili ama fikra ama central nervous system kwa lugha ya Kimombo.
Watu wenye anashika mercury with bare hands wakuwe na gloves, na iwe ni lazima wawe nazo wakati wanapotumia, wasiwe na direct contact na mercury.
A campaign to sensitize miners against the harmful effects of the use of mercury is ongoing. Stakeholders in the mining sector now want the government to help residents find alternative sources of livelihoods.
Geomba serikali ya Kenya pia waweze kuingilia kati, wasaidie wachimbaji wadogo ili waweze kujimudu, ili tusiweze kuingiliwa sana na kampuni kubwa.
The Global Environment Fund, in conjunction with the United Nations Development Program, has already donated 800 million shillings to support eradication of mercury in mining gold in Kenya. It is believed that inhalation of elemental mercury vapors can cause neurological disorders such as memory loss with high exposures leading to death. Purity Museo, Sunday Express.
Now, stakeholders in the agriculture sector want the government to train farmers on best farming technologies in a bid to address food insecurity in the country. Speaking at Chebororwa Agricultural Training Center in Uasin Gishu County, Yara East Africa lead agronomist Abinijor Sengwer said there is need for farmers to continuously have their soils tested to identify right nutrients required for better crop yields.
Yara East Africa brought together medium and small-scale farmers from 10 cooperative societies from several parts of Uasin Gishu and Elgeyo-Marakwet counties on better farming techniques. It is here where stakeholders in the agricultural sector call on the government to educate farmers on emerging technologies and what is required of them to maximize on yields.
We have been stuck on using traditional fertilizers, DAP for example for planting and urea for top dressing. Those are only providing 2 nutrients. As we know, even on the human nutrition, we require balanced diet. So the same we are bringing here to show that farmers, the crops as well, they require balanced nutrition.
Philip Ngetich, a medium-scale maize farmer from Soy sub-county, admitted that by using the correct fertilizer, one can realize up to 40 bags per acre of maize.
Mimi naambia wakulima tufanye farming iwe business, isiwe leshe. Usipande tu bora umepanda. Hakikisha kwamba ukitumia yaramila power na upate planta ile sawa sawa, haitarudi chini ya 40.
Yara East Africa lead agronomist Abednego Sengwer stressed the need for farmers to continuously have their soil tested so as to identify the right nutrients for their crops.
Tuelewe kwamba mmea haswa kama binadamu unahitaji lishe kamili. Na lishe kamili kwa mahindi pia ni kutoa mbolea au kulisha huo mmea na mbolea ambazo zina madini zaidi ya mawili.
The company has identified Chebororwa Agricultural Training Center that it will be using as a training center for farmers within the region. Timothy Kipnusu for Sunday Express.
And of course, employing technology in farming could be the silver bullet to the issue of food security. That is among the pillars of President Uhuru Kenyatta in this his last term, food security.
Food security indeed. And we just marked the World Food Day the other day, at a time when our country is facing an acute, over 2 million people are facing acute starvation in over 10 counties. So that could be one of the ways in which, if we go that direction, we could actually just seal the gap. Now we're going to be taking a very short break, but remember we still got more lined up for you, including that interview on a teenage pregnancy awareness project that has seen hundreds of vulnerable young people in slums in urban centers get assistance from a group of young people. I will be engaging them to tell us how they are doing this and why they are doing this. So do stay with us as we take that break now.
We take it on at the right time.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
The Honorable Mutahi Kagwe.
Chief Justice Martha Karambuko.
This is KBC, the voice of Kenya.
Asking the right questions.
I don't know how it made you feel as speaker who is presiding over a house where members can be compromised with 10,000 shillings.
We keep our guests comfortable. A mission to ensure our audience gets a complete story.
For a few hours or so, I thought this is it. My end has come.
If really we want an end of this pandemic, we must fight.
Our goal, to tell it as it is for the benefit of our viewer.
And I'm sure we will have good discussions.
All right.
That will make probably your viewers understand KDF better.
With 21 radio outlets.
During a live interview on KBC TV, Chief of Defense Forces General Robert Kibosha.
Jaji mkuu kwa mara ya kwanza katika mahojiano yake ya kipekee na runinga ya KBC Channel 1.
And 2 TV stations covering over 90% of the entire country. The message always gets home. KBC, the home of on-air TV interviews.
Kuna moyo kudunda hivi.
Nani? Mimi ndo chanzo cha vita vyako wewe na dadako.
Finika alafu aje kusimama nyuma yangu. Sasa tutazungumza vipi? Angalia movies wewe. I'm in disguise.
Ataweza kula vipi na hamna network? Weza kumeza tu.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, a family in Nyamira County is appealing for assistance from well-wishers to enable them raise 1.7 million shillings for treatment of their kin who is suffering from cancer. Richard Okemwa Ondieki has been in and out of hospital after being diagnosed with a medical condition, and his bill has since depleted the family's finances. Let's get that report now.
51-year-old Richard Okwemo Ondieki is a troubled man. From a distance, one cannot tell his predicament. Richard's life has changed drastically since his cancer diagnosis.
Tena saa hii hakuna kitu mimi na meza. Ile mipira ilikuwa mifupi. Tena ile ugonjwa ikapita ile mipira. Tena ikaweka kitonda ngine jini. Nikakopa 15,000 kwa wasamira wema. Nikaenda mpaka kwa daktari akaniangalia akaniambia ile mipira imekuwa mifupi, imesidi sasa ile ugonjwa tena imepita ile mipira. Ndio sababu sikuri wala sikunywi.
The sole breadwinner Richard can no longer work and his wife Evelyn Mora has to step in.
Na mzee anakaa bila kukula. Saa hii tunateseka, niko na watoto, hawa watoto wanataka kukula. Hatuna chakula. Na fisi wanataka, hakuna hiyo fisi, niko na watoto 7. Na watoto wote wanataka waoge, hakuna sabuni. Tunateseka tu, tunaomba tu mtusaidie.
Donations can be channeled to Richard Okwemo Ondieki via M-Pesa number 0714791670. For Sunday Express, I'm Safiri Malina.
The vagaries of cancer. Any help to Richard Okwemo Ondieki can be channeled through those bank accounts given there, so you can help him raise 1.7 million shillings to seek treatment. Now, moving forward, 74 people tested positive for the coronavirus from a sample size of 3,987 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 1.9%. Total confirmed positive cases are 252,033, or cumulative tests so far conducted are 2,639,107. Total fatalities have increased to 5,223. This is after 8 people succumbed to the disease, one of them in the last one day, while the other 7 reports from facility record audits in the month of October. In the last one day, 76 patients have recovered, or 590 are admitted in various facilities countrywide. According to the Ministry of Health, 4,500,179 vaccines have been administered across the country. Globally, data from the Johns Hopkins University shows that more than 240.5 million people have tested positive, while over 4.89 million have died from the coronavirus disease. Let's move this forward. Over 3,500 women from at least 7 counties will benefit from beadwork training through the Ushanga Kenya initiative. Also, Kenya and Uganda authorities have asked fish traders at the Busia common border to remain calm as a standoff over impounded fish is resolved. Here are the details of this and other stories in our county news roundup.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage, Josephta Mukolwe, says the government is sourcing for foreign markets for beadwork produced through the Ushanga Kenya initiative. 3,500 women from 7 counties will be trained on the use of machines to string beads faster.
To make these women more productive by training them in modern technologies of using the bead.
In Busia, Kenya and Ugandan authorities have assured fish traders at the common border the current standoff over impounded fish in Entebbe will be solved on Monday.
Ikifika Monday, yale matatizo yote ilikuwa natusumbua, wataenda kuzungumza na wote ambao wanahusika kuhakikisha kwamba biashara yetu imeenda sawa sawa.
And in Garissa County, residents of Bula Agricultural Development Corporation in Garissa County can now breathe a sigh of relief after the county government sank a borehole to cater for shortage of water. The residents had gone without water for close to 7 months before the intervention.
Asante sana, hii maji umetusaidia sana. Tumesumbua kina maji ya watabusa, ametusumbua sana. So tumebata maji ya kutosha ile nongojea muda mrefu sana.
As the world celebrates 4-day, farmers in Homa Bay County are still grappling with unpredictable weather patterns that make the region food insecure. Agricultural CEC Juma Aguko said many farmers are yet to master the changing weather patterns so that they can cultivate land accordingly. This as Moses Mbuti of Food Bank in Kenya, who donated food and assorted items to Eloi children and elderly home in Nairobi, called for continued effort to caution the less fortunate from negative economic effects of COVID-19 pandemic.
Every year we celebrate World Food Day. Na leo tumefurahi sana kwa sababu tumelete chakula kwa wakongwe upande wa Kayole, watu ambao wamekuwa na shida sana, vulnerable people. Leo tuliwaletea chakula na wamefurahi sana.
Meanwhile, in Kajiado County, more than 500 senior citizens from Kajiado County have benefited from a 2-day eye treatment clinic free of charge. Eye specialists said most patients suffered from cataract owing to their advanced age.
The main objective of this eye camp is to screen the patient for eye diseases, but more so the cataract.
And finally, Kiambu County Deputy Governor Joyce Ngugi says the county government will install modern equipment on all social hall sub-counties to encourage more talented youth to explore the field of arts, film and music. She made the remarks in Gatundu during the launch of a talent search competition.
All right. Some of the issues that have hit headlines every time we talk about national or national examinations is the number of girls or the increasing number of teenage pregnancies. But has anybody tried to reach out to the youth, probably warn them against the problem of teenage pregnancies? Serfine Achieng is speaking to a gentleman from Youth for Change, and she's up next. Let's have a look at that conversation. Over to you, Serfine.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Sunday Express, and right about now we want to start our conversation for the night. Today we are talking about Youth for Change, and in just a few minutes I'll be highlighting two gentlemen who are leading a pack of young people who are doing something really inspiring for those who come from vulnerable families in slums, and we will be talking about that in a bit. But at this particular juncture, we are having this conversation at a time when young people form the biggest chunk of those who have been affected by HIV and AIDS. Cases of teenage pregnancy go high each and every day. We've also had cases of crime rates increasing in our country, and most of the perpetrators are young people. And we've asked ourselves, even over time, why is it that young people often are used for the wrong reasons in the society? So tonight we want to talk about change. We want to talk about the youth as change agents and how the youth can be part of the solutions to the problems that are ailing them in the society. And joining me in studio tonight to have this very important conversation, I'm having two gentlemen. And I'll start from the gentleman who is sitting at the center there. His name is Ruben Apuya Mutua. Ruben is the chairperson of an organization known as TIPA. We'll be delving into it in just a bit. And of course, also alongside him is Frederick Onyango Otieno. He's the communications officer for that organization, TIPA. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for creating time for us. And of course, I just want to understand, first of all, when we talk about TEPA, that's what you tell me it's called, TEPA, an initiative that is very noble from where I sit, reaching out to the young people, as young people, you know, sending out dignity kits for the young people in slums. Just tell me a little bit about what birthed this story of TEPA.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And TEPA in full is Teenage Pregnancy Awareness. We call it TEPA. And we started this project in January, but we launched it last Friday. And the reason why I came up with this project is because, having been born and raised in Kibera, I've seen the challenges my fellow students are going through. And also when COVID struck in this country, we heard that over 2,000 students were pregnant in the slum. So I sat down, thought of the issue, and I went to the ground and asked their problem, and they told me the real problem is themselves, the students themselves. In as much as sometimes we blame border people for impregnating these girls, but it is the relationship, boy-girl relationship in the same schools. And I thought that I would address this issue better when I do interact with both girls and boys, because in some organizations that come in, they only focus on girls alone and they leave boys. And you remember, and you all know, that boys are the perpetrators of these pregnancy issues. And so having that...
Not necessarily, before you continue, there's what experts have called the Romeo and Juliet sort of arrangement. So it could be willing willing, should I say willing seller, willing buyer, but of course, not necessarily that all the time the boy is the perpetrator, but in most cases, that is the unfortunate situation. So I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, true. And so also, number two, they also told me that some of them, you see, they're in the slums. Most of their parents are poor. So it is called period poverty. And we want to end this issue of period poverty. So some of the girls, they are unable to purchase pads. So when they come to one of us, for example, Freddie, and they request for money to buy pads, Fred will give them in the first place. But when they come back, Fred will request for some favors from them. And what comes in, they'll get pregnant. So with us, I don't mean that he will do that. He doesn't. I've used that as an example. This is an example.
But Freddie, thank you so much also for creating time for us tonight. So as a member of TEPA, you know, he approached a group of you guys and asked you to join this noble initiative. Yes. What inspired you, and what was your initial thinking when you heard about this idea and what it is going to do for young people?
I thank you so much. And so it is born from let's say from the previous interactions I've had with the school. So we've got a chance to visit various communities all through Kenya, and so I saw how they were handling the situation. Like there was an instance where they were creating sanitary pads from cloths, something of that sort, in the Maasai community. And so I thought that this is going to be a very nice chance to ensure that they get this all through. Yeah, so I also pitched it to my friends, and they said it's a nice idea, and so we went ahead, formed a team, and along the way there were challenges, but here it is on Friday. We made sure that we've delivered the much we could.
All right. So you began this initiative in January. So all along there has been 1 or 2, 3 things you've been doing underground. Then the official launch was on Friday, this particular week. Yes. So tell us about that journey. And when you talk about reaching out to the young people, what exactly do you do to them?
So in as much as we started this project in January, launching it came later. So we've been visiting these schools, giving talks without some donations. But along the way from May, we decided to give ourselves a break and collect some funds, donations from well-wishers. So we've been using Mchanga to collect some funds from people. And so we decided to buy some pads and books and distribute them to the girls. Also, for men, as you've asked, also for other people who are supposed to initiate change. It doesn't matter whether you have it in plenty or not. Whatever you have, you see, you can have an idea in the mind, but it's just an idea. But when you put it in practice, it becomes a very big thing that can help a society at large. So it doesn't matter. I'm not employed, he's not employed, we are all students. And we deny ourselves that little that we have, and we set it aside to help the community. So it is not a very simple journey. It requires sacrifice.
So you give them books, you give them sanitary towels.
Yes.
It's just sort of, you know, the essential items that will be contained in a dignity pack, yeah?
Yes.
I mean, as young people, and he has just said, you guys are not employed, you guys are just still in school and you have your future ahead of you. Many would be really busy chasing that future as opposed to, you know, dealing with such issues. I mean, what inspired you as a young person, and what would you say or tell a young person out there who doesn't feel like they're in a position to actually start reaching out and be part of charity?
Also, based on what you have shown on other TVs or other organizations, is that they are a massive group that have all the funding from maybe various governments. But so I took this as a challenge, since I said, I'll deny myself this little that I have for now. Make sure that I make the effort or the impact that I can within the community. And from there, I'll say that at least I did something, rather than spending that money on other things that won't bring change to the community. And so along the way, we started pushing each other, and like, see, every month you need to give a little bit so that you can see this grow, because we want it to grow, and at the same time we want to say that at least we made a move, rather than just staying there and complaining that we're waiting for the top authorities to reach out to us. Yeah.
The serikali tafadhali
exactly.
culture in this country. Okay, so you know, Ruben, you say even in your background, it's not a very rosy upbringing. You come from a very vulnerable upbringing, and here you are, you're in university, there is your future ahead of you. You could be tempted to think about yourself and your future, and then you go about starting this idea. What is it that, why? What's the why in this equation?
Now, let me reflect back in my life. Someone somewhere asked me during my birthday in July, what can we offer you that can make you happy? I kept on telling them, just make someone happy, I'll be happy. So I don't have that ability, like, I don't know, that my mind doesn't have that capability of getting gifts for me to be happy. I believe in impacting someone in the society for me to be happy. And so the reason why I started TEPA is because I wanted someone in the society to change. Because we've realized that most of the people in Kibera, they understand because they've been brought up in a vulnerable society, they have no future at all. But when they see me, they look at me, I tell them I come from Kibera, I live in Lindi. They understand, by the way, you come from Lindi. And majority of them don't believe. But some of them, when they see me moving around on weekends and they believe that I come from Kibera, they always tell me that they get encouraged and they want to further their studies. So the why here is the impact I want to create in the society. We want to have a society of young men, young women who are focused on their studies and help them reduce these teenage pregnancies.
If you look at the environment where your organization operates, what are some of the biggest challenges? Because what we see are big numbers of teenage pregnancy, big numbers of crime, the youth being involved in such crime, situations. I mean, what is it about such a setup that would make a young person vulnerable to such vices?
Number one is, let me start from the girl side, is period poverty. As I've mentioned earlier, you come to me, I'll help you today, tomorrow I need a favor from you. And that favor is not monetary.
It's in kind.
Yes, it is in kind, of course. For men, also for these boys, of which we give mentorship programs to them, is what we call drug addiction. Mihadarati. So these boys in Kibera, some of them will sneak out of school to go and take bank, alcohol, and what have you. So this is the biggest challenge that we're addressing in the community. So period poverty, alongside poverty and drug abuse, is the biggest challenge that we are trying to address in the society.
Where do you think there is a disconnect? Because let me cite the example of teenage pregnancy a while back. There was that blame game going on. It is the government, it is the parents who have failed, it is the church, it is the young people that have failed themselves. Where do you think this problem could be coming from?
Well, generally the problem is in the society, since let's say it is what I see from my neighbor doing, and so I say that since he's up there and he can do this, then I can do this. And so we cannot blame one specific person. I say we can just, we can, and we cannot start blaming people. It's already there, so the best we can do is at least make sure that we've made amends with it and brought the best out of ourselves.
Ruben, young people like yourselves often complain that hawaskizwi, the society doesn't understand us. I mean, do you think that could be an issue also that needs to be checked if we are to solve the problems that are ailing the young people in this generation?
The issue of being listened to is in the mind. So if you've already perceived that you are not listened to, whether you communicate and someone listens to it, they act to it, you will not perceive the change. We are being listened to, and that's why we have so many government projects coming up to help the young people. And I don't know what you mean by saying they are not listened to, yet we have other programs that are coming to help young people. If they were not being listened to, we could not be having such programs coming on board to help them.
All right. I like what Frederick has said. I mean, you cannot blame a single person in this, but it's a multi-sectorial issue. It involves all of us in the society, the government, parents, the church, and even the colleagues, the friends, the peers. Because, if we are to go the direction of blaming one person, then we are not finding any solution. I want us to go back to what you guys do and just to understand how you identify the beneficiaries. How do you spot where to invest your charitable act, and where do you get your funding from? Because you are just students who are still pursuing their own careers. So how do you make this work?
So first of all, being brought in Kibera, or being brought up in Kibera, has given me a chance to recognize where the challenge is. And first of all, we visit schools. So from the schools, we'll always ask the head teachers or the principals where the challenge is in the school. Where is the issue of pads, books, like what happens in the school that keeps this child away from school, or how many cases have you had of teenage pregnancies, and what is the cause? So that's how we identify our niche for us to help these people. With our funding, we rely on ourselves. We don't have donors, but we're still looking for donors. So like right now, we are looking for we need another, because we do donations every month. On 15th of next month, we need to give donations to 2 schools. So we've started our initiatives. So we've said everyone should give 600 shillings by the end of this month. So it means being around 10 of us, we have 6,000. But our target is around 100,000. So you see, when we reach out to friends, those who are willing to help, but there's this perspective from the human mind that when they give, they think that we are benefiting by ourselves. But it is the society that is benefiting.
The society is benefiting. I want you to pick from that particular point,
Yes.
Tell me, when one person volunteers to purchase or help you purchase that dignity pack for a single girl in that slum,
yes,
what does that act translate to? Give us the bigger picture. How does it,
It starts with one person giving out, and then they will probably encourage their friends to say like, hi, I gave out this and I've seen what they've done, and so I think you should also come in and join. And so maybe as a group they'll come, and then they might go back to, if they're in our age group, to their parents and pitch like, see, my friends are doing such a thing and they would want some help, and so would you mind helping them? And so slowly bit by bit, I mean, we've got everyone covered now. Yeah, I think that's how, in the larger perspective, the whole society has been covered. Yes.
Are there, instances of challenges you've experienced? It's been a few months you've been doing this. People, asking you why you're doing this. You're a young person. I mean, you should be busy doing something else. Have you had, hiccups along the way, and how are you dealing with them?
First of all, the biggest challenge is someone asking me, you are a man, so how are you dealing with the teenage pregnancy issues, and you are a man? Yes. This issue should be left for women. But I realized we are also involved, because other organizations are focusing on women, they are leaving men, as I've said earlier. But as a young man, I know where the challenge is. It is from both sides, the girl child and the boy child. So the biggest challenge is when the schools, most of the schools we visit, they're telling me, because we're talking about teenage pregnancy issues, just talk to girls. But we have to insist and negotiate and tell them, now listen to us, we are talking to both.
Why is that important for you?
It's important because I've already mentioned earlier, in as much as it is a give and receive act, like of getting pregnant, we also need to address the main issue, because they're also, in some aspect, the perpetrators of this cause, also women. So we need to teach them. And in as much as we're teaching about teenage pregnancies, we also mentor them on other effects. If you are not getting pregnant, you will get STDs. So we teach them on all these avenues so that they get informed. But you see, most of the schools, they don't want that. They want to neglect girls on the other side, boys on the other side, which makes we boys or men feel left aside, which is not a good idea. The other challenge is also of funding. That's the biggest challenge we are facing right now. But I know in future we'll get someone who can help us to help the community, because I know someone is watching somewhere. They know what challenges these kids are going through, and they're really willing to help, but they have not gotten the avenue to help. But when you raise them, now they get the avenues to help.
Are you a registered organization?
We are a registered organization and a CBO, that is community-based organization.
All right. What's the feedback like, as we're just about to wrap up? What is the response and the reach, what is the impact of what you guys are doing? Are you receiving feedback about it?
Yeah, in the beginning it was minimal, but as time goes by, I think we are growing, because since we managed to do several school visits before we actually give out the first inauguration, they could see our presence, and so they knew, so you're those guys who came in the previous school, yeah. So they've known us over time. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's positive.
All right, gentlemen, all the best in all you're doing. We really commend and encourage you, to keep being the youth for change that you are. We've run out of time for this conversation, so I'll give you 1 minute each for your parting shot. Any final word you'd like to tell the community, the youth who are watching tonight? Let me start with Frederick, and then I'll end with the chairperson.
Yeah, so for me is this, it doesn't take much to make a move, or to make a change within the society, but just start small. The little you give, you'll feel that you can even make more, and so you choose to make even bigger steps along time. It won't happen immediately, but over time you'll see the progress you've made. Yeah, that's much I can say.
Okay. Yeah. If young people want to connect with you guys?
So for the organization, it's a Teenage Pregnancy Awareness 2021 for the Instagram, and also Teenage Pregnancy Awareness on Facebook.
On Facebook, all right. Yeah. Your final words, Ruben?
My final word will be, in every society there is a challenge, and it takes a young person to spot the challenge. Because you see, these old men have finished their part. They had their challenges, they addressed it. If we wait for these old men to address our challenges, we shall not benefit. We need to look, whether you live in an estate, there's a challenge people are facing, and you can come up with an idea or ideas to help curb the challenges people are facing. It doesn't matter, as Frederick has said, whether you have it or you have plenty of money or not. It starts from the mind. When you put it in practice, then it becomes favorable to the entire community.
All right, thank you so much. Ruben Apuya Mutua, the chairperson at TEPA, and of course, Frederick Onyango Otieno, the communications officer for TEPA, an organization that really, inspires young people and helps supply dignity kits to the vulnerable in the society, and also passing information on in terms of teenage pregnancy and some of the vices that are affecting young people in the society. Keep doing what you guys are doing. We commend you and wish you all the best. Thank you so much for watching up to this particular point. You're going to be taking a very short break. We are coming back with much more.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority on or before November 1st, 2021. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.holders.ufaa.go.ke and get started. Beat the November 1st, 2021 deadline. It's your turn. Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Time for sports now. And Kenya's Elisha Rotich made history today after smashing Kenenisa Bekele's course record to win the 2021 Paris Marathon. Rotich clocked 2 hours, 4 minutes and 21 seconds over the 42-kilometer course, slashing more than a minute off the previous record set by the veteran Ethiopian in 2014.
Kenyan Rotich produced his best ever performance for a personal best in his 14th marathon, smashing his previous mark by exactly 1. Ethiopian Eil Mariam Kiros and fellow Kenyan Hilary Kipsambu finished second and third respectively. The Paris Marathon, featuring 60,000 participants from 145 countries, was initially scheduled for April this year, but was delayed by 6 months due to COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Kenya's Lydia Simiyu was crowned the champion of this year's edition of the Cape Town Marathon after completing the event in 2 hours, 25 minutes and 41 seconds. Compatriot Lucy Karimi finished second in 2 hours, 25 minutes and 53 seconds, 16 seconds ahead of Heinalem Teferi of Ethiopia. Elsewhere, Kenya's Angela Tanui emerged victorious in this year's edition of the Amsterdam Marathon after a course record time of 2 hours, 17 minutes and 57 seconds. Tanui dedicated the victory and the effort to the fallen teammate Agnes Tirop, whose life was taken early this week in a gruesome murder in Iten. Compatriot Maureen Chepkemoi finished second ahead of Ethiopian's Haven Hailu. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
And the Kenya Sistable Federation has selected a provisional squad of 24 players who will represent the country in the World Cup qualifiers slated for next month in Argentina. The number will, however, be slashed to 16, 8 men and 8 women.
After the end of the Sistable Kenya inter-county competition that culminated today at City Stadium, the Sistable Kenya Federation has selected 24 players who are set to join camp ahead of the Sistable World Cup that will be held next month in Argentina.
Wa support na tujue vile wanaweza kuikuza hii mchezo. Tunataka ifike all the sub county na wards zote za Nairobi. Na kama itawezekana mpaka kwa grassroots.
Yeah, I have seen they have really improved, and if it's a matter of selection, we've done the best and we are going to have the best teams. I know with my technical team, what they are going to present to us, I think is the best that we are going to have for especially Sistable team Kenya.
Institutions sasa kama vocational training centers pia ni mahali tumewaintroduce hii mchezo, na hata tukiangalia tournament ya kwanza tulifanya pale Mombasa, ambapo pia watu wa Mombasa na county zingine waliweza kushiriki.
The players who were selected are from 5 different clubs including Mathare, Mombasa, Western among others. After the end of the inter-county competition, Western ladies team finished on top of the standings with 8 points, while Mombasa women finished second with 6 points. Mathare finished third with 4 points. The men's title was clinched by Prison's team, which finished top with 8 points, while Mathare and Homa Bay finished in the second and third positions with 6 and 4 points respectively. Frederick Mwoki for Sunday Express.
George Odiwor's lone goal helped Kakamega Homeboys claim a 1-0 win over Wazito FC in a Football Kenya Federation FKF match that was played today at Utalii Grounds, Nairobi. Odiwor netted a penalty in the 43rd minute after David Okoth was fouled in the box by Wazito's Omar Adisa. Kasi FC have earned promotion to the Nairobi West Football Kenya Federation FKF League after claiming a 2-1 win over Escalators FC in a playoff match that was played today at Ligi Ndogo Ground, Nairobi. Meanwhile, Uweza Youth beat Maranatha FC 2-1 to seal promotion to the County League.
Aizo, team up! Aizo,
West, we have the regional league, we have the county league, we have the regional men and women, we have the county men and women, then we have the sub-county league, then now we have the youth leagues. Actually, what we've done for the sub-county leagues, guys play in their respective sub-branches just to try and help on to cut down on expenses, because
kuna changamoto sana kwa sababu hii unang'ang'ana ukijiacha ndio uweze kusaidia vijana, na tujapata mfadhili wowote. Tumeng'ang'ana tukasema waje tung'ang'ane kusaidia vijana, wanapotea na wanapoteza maisha zao.
Thierry Neuville stormed to his second FIA World Rally Championship victory of the season with a commanding success at Rally de Spain. The Belgian took control of the penultimate round with 8 straight fastest times in his Hyundai i20 across the middle of the 3-day asphalt rally to secure back-to-back Spain victories by 24.1 seconds. Second place for Elfyn Evans in a Toyota Yaris means the fight for the driver's title goes to a final round decider in Italy next month.
Right door 40, 5 left, just in, all 6 right door.
And finally, Angelo Ogbonya headed a second-half winner to give West Ham United a hard-fought victory at Everton. The Toffees could not find an equaliser as a 3-game winning run at Garrison Park. Well, it's time for us to put a cap on the bulletin, but obviously the work continues. Tomorrow there's a new team, Tomboy and Purity himself being in charge of Prime Edition.
We'll be back here on Wednesday for Prime Edition. So
you will be here on Wednesday.
Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate your company, for always keeping us company. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We're now going to be leaving you with the weather updates. My name is Serfine Achieng Oma, and our sign language interpreter for tonight has been Byron Abuli.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. From tomorrow all the way up until Wednesday, watch a comprehensive coverage of the Mashujaa Day celebrations coming up from tomorrow. And our team will head over to Kirinyaga County beginning tomorrow, so you can expect those updates up until Wednesday, the day of Mashujaa Day, as Kenya marks another Mashujaa Day and probably the last under President Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure as president. Have yourself a good night. My name is John Jacob Kioria.
College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design and soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000-706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya motisha, bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash.
Wengi wamelazimika kusitisha ndoto zao kufuatia vigezo na changamoto mbalimbali maishani. Hata hivyo, mwishowe kilicho chako huwa chako, ukitia bidii bila kupoteza kilichokupa motisha mwanzoni.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya motisha, bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash. Star 811 star 815 hash.
Sana nakula chips.
Oya, pesa hapo nyuma. Oya, bada, pesa yako. Oya, lipia Ronaldo pia wewe.
We, Chanchi yangu usiniwekee.
Tulia. Unadondoka mwana fika kana.
Ni game ya mwisho, multibet ingiane ama ichomeke. Swali ni, utadondoka?
Mbona moyo kudunda hivi?
Nani?
Mimi ndo chanzo cha vita vyako wewe na dadako.
Finika alafu aje kusimama nyuma yangu. Sasa tutazungumza vipi? Angalia movies wewe. I'm in disguise.
Ataweza kula vipi na hamna network? Weza kumeza tu.
Hello good people. Na Save Life tumerudi Kakamega County na tuko hapa na Maureen. If you do remember Maureen. Na Maureen ni alikuwa na mguu imefura na at least tumeweza kutembea na yeye. Na alienda hospitali, alianzia pale Busia County Referral Hospital na amefanywa test kadhaa. Na hizi test nimeona ameanza matibabu. Atatuambia venye ameimprove because ananiambia paka hii shida ya tumbo because hii kufura ilikuwa imeenda mpaka kwa tumbo but ananiambia imeisha. Hiyo shindano imefanya pia maji imetoka tatu explainia tuambie improvement yake. Tuendelea kutembea na yeye. Na naona after kufanywa hizi test ya naona hii ni clinical summary na naona alifanywa Doppler ultrasound on a conclusion number 1 extensive lymphedema of left lower limb na number 2 ikapatikana no DVT is seen. Uni Dr. Adabi, radiologist. So what we'll say that zidi kuomba na Maureen na so far ananiambia after treatment at least kuna slightly improvement. Na vile tulisema because we don't just highlight a story na tunamwacha, we'll continue to work with her. Understand that amekiwa clinics na hizi clinic faa aende na pia mnajua pia ni pesa, but we'll continue working with her and may God bless you because watu wengi wameniuliza Maureen endeleaje. That's why tumedecide lazima tukutembele tuambie penye ulianza hospitali uliambiwaje na all that.
Okay, wakati mlikuja mara kwanza nilikuwa nimeanza matibabu, nilikuwa nimereferiwa Busia but sasa ika stop juu ya pesa. So at least I thank Kenyans wale wenye wamecontribute na moyo safi, wamenisaidia kidogo nikaendelea na matibabu yangu. Kaenda scanning daktari akasema mguu uko sawa, kwa mifupa veins zote ziko sawa. But hii enlargement ya nyama hii ndio walinibukia clinic. Nianze kunini kwenda clinic after every 2 weeks waone kama inaweza fanya reducing. Before that kuna sindano zenye nilidungwa imesaidia katoboa mguu maji. Hii ni maji imemwagika yote.
Hebu tuone.
Hii yote hii ni maji. Mwagika yote. Sasa wacha tuone.
Naona mpaka imedry ina maji.
Sasa ni kuna dawa zenye na meza. Yeah, alafu nimeambiwa ni book clinic. So clinic probably nafaa nianze Monday. Nianze Monday after every 2 weeks tuone kama kutakuwa na changes. Alafu tena tufanye test zingine wajue imefikia wapi ndio wa take step from there. Okay. Meanwhile kuna dawa zenye natumia.
Okay. Na umeniambia hiyo vimba ilikuwa imefika kwa tumbo.
Yeah, kuna ilikuwa imeshika nini kidney. So kuna sindano yenye nilidungwa I think na hizo dawa zenye nimemeza imeenda kuchapa. Huku juu at least kuna teremka, huku juu si vile ilikuwa, huku juu kumeteremka. Sasa uzito inaenda ikijaa huku. I think ndio hiyo uzito imelemea, sasa inatoa maji, inatafuta mahali penye maji itatokea. Maji kiasi ndio inatoka hivyo. Siku ya kwanza ilitoka mingi, ilimwagika mingi. So wakati naendelea nikimeza dawa inaenda ikikauka. Ikiacha hivi naonde kikauka zingine, lakini saizi na feel vizuri. Huko ndani kwa mguu nasikia wepesi fulani huko. Ni juu tu kwa nyama ndio kuna uzito, but kwa mifupa ndani nasikia kuna wepesi. Nikidhani hiyo dawa ilienda kuchapa. Imefanya imekuwa wepesi. Mizizi walisema ndani iko sawa, mifupa iko sawa. So ni hii nyama ndio wameibukia clinic waone how they can control it.
Nasema clinic ni lini?
Naanza Monday. Yeah.
So first nataka kushukuru pia wale madaktari wanashughulikia hii na led by Dr. Adambi. May God bless you. Let's continue working with Maureen. Na pia kama Save a Life tuliamua tutembea na yeye na tumejitolea pia, and personally mimi mwenyewe nimejitolea pia, nimemulipia insurance at least for 1.5 years, na pia na call anyone who wants to help Maureen. Na pia nakumbusha pia Maureen akona watoto wako pale shule wanataka kukula, na unajua saizi bado hawezi rudi kazini, so we want also to support her so that ndio at least tumsaidie to make hizi shida zake zipungue. And normally we say that we do our part na Mungu anafanya hiyo ingine. So I'm also calling you in to support. Na Maureen kuna watu walikusupport because hizo zote umetumia pesa. Najua umetumia pesa mingi, hizi mascan nini na MRI and all that. Na watu wamekuja wamekusupport. Na watu wanaendelea kusupport. Tunawaambiaje?
Ile nataka kusema ni shukrani. Hata kama hukutoa shilingi yako, lakini ulisema tu neno la maombi tu, ukasema Mungu amponye. Ilifika. Nashukuru sana. Chochote kenye mtu alitoa. Kwa Biblia imeandikwa, mkono wa kulia ukitoa, wa kushoto usijue. Acha Mungu akubariki na akuzidishie zaidi ya ile yenye ulitoa. Hata kama ni shilingi 10 ilichangia kujaza ingine na ikasaidia mahali pakubwa. Nashukuru tu sana kwa moyo wa ukarimu ambao kila mtu amekuwa nao. Acha Mungu awazidishie zaidi. Yeah.
True. Na after hii matibabu, after hii shindano, nini imechange? Nini umeniambia kulikuwa na hiyo vimbe, mguu umetoa, nini ingine imebadilika kwa mwili yako unasikia?
Saizi yani at least nasikia ni nyepesi. Saizi naweza tembea. Mtu hata akiona nikitembea nadhania nina uzito, lakini sina.
Hata vile mwingine mama ameniambia at least unatembea.
Sina uzito kwa mguu kabisa. Ni hii tu wewe unaona na macho ya juu, but mimi ndio na feel. Najua tu ni hii uzito tu ya nyama ya juu, but ndani nasikia at least kuna.
Yeah, true.
Saizi naweza enda short course. Naweza hesabu.
Unaweza enda sasa?
Naweza hesabu vizuri sana.
Amazing.
Hapo nyuma ningeenda once kwa siku mara moja hivyo na nisahau. Lakini saizi at least najua hizo dawa zinafanya kazi. Mungu atapitia ndani, nitapona na siku moja nitasimama niseme kupitia Save a Life nilipata matibabu na nikapona.
Mungu ni mwema. Mungu ni mwema. For sure is you know, is even hurting and also very you know, depressing to the family. Na tuko na nyanyake hapa, the grandmother, and she will take us through because anakaa na nyumbani hapa, because even family walishindwa kukaa na yeye, akasema acha nitafute pesa mbali. Na but nimewapigia simu wakaniambia shi ugonjwa, but I said earlier we'll start from doing the investigation to get to investigate what is ailing this boy, shida ni nini, and from there